What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode in the Honda Civic Mugen SI series. Behind me I got the Mugen. As you can see, it's a very dirty Mugen, but that doesn't matter because it is my daily driver. I will be cleaning it who knows when, maybe soon, but I think today's video we're going to go ahead and do something a little more in-depth than a car wash. We're actually going to change out the rear brakes of my car. A few videos ago I changed out the front brakes, and you remember me telling you guys it needs new rear brakes as well. So yeah, today's video, it's going to be more of a time lapse because the procedure of doing the rear brakes is exactly the same as the front brakes, so I don't need to create another 45-minute video for you guys to watch. But we'll go ahead, I'll change out the rear brakes, and then I probably won't get to doing a brake flush in this video, but definitely be on the lookout for the next video where I probably will go ahead and do a brake flush to make sure that these brakes are stopping perfectly. The front brakes are working great. I love them. I got the same exact set for the rear Stop Tech rotors with Hawk pads. And yeah, enough talking. Let's go ahead, start lifting this baby up and getting these rear brakes changed out. So many of you guys might be wondering why I got two separate wheel locks on my car. I actually went on vacation and I had the car parked in my apartment complex, and I came back and it was missing a wheel lock. I don't know who did it, how it happened, but it wasn't even the regular lug nut, it was missing the lock. So I know what some people do is they take a smaller socket, hit it with a hammer, get a grip, and then twist it off. But just for an extra set of precaution, I've gotten one more lock on the car, so I'm probably just going to do all 5. This way, if someone does try to steal them, they're going to be making a lot of noise at night, and they can't steal this, because they'll have to do each one 5 times, 4 times, 20 times. So this is just another safety precaution. Alright guys, so I was able to get only one of the 4 rotor screws out, and then I somehow broke this and it's stuck in there. So what I had to do was I had to get the heavy artillery. I had to go to Home Depot and pick that set up. Hopefully now we could get this out. I did buy some other bits to maybe potentially get out, those screws. But again, this is number 3, and I'm gonna try the same. So let's see before I open up the Milwaukee, because this was super expensive. So if I could get this out without opening that, that would be ideal. Well, let's give it a try. Alright guys, so this is when you gotta know when to stop with your OCD. I finished to this side of the car, brakes are good. Coming over to this side, because the rotor screws are really rusted on, I had to drill them out. Unfortunately on this side, my OCD was getting to me and I was like, I gotta put these screws back on. Now, I tried to get an extractor bit, and as you can see, my extractor bit broke inside of this thing. So now I got a Sawzall. I'm gonna see if I could cut this off and just leave it as is. At this point, I just want the brake back on the car. Your wheels hold the rotor on anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but know when to stop with your OCD. Alright, so I figured since this is already a hole over here, I'm not gonna worry about sawzalling that off. It is what it is. The wheel's just gonna hold this in place. I'm just gonna put the caliper back on and call it a day. Alright guys, and that is it. The rear brakes of the car are changed. Everything looks good. They're functioning as they should be. The fronts are new as well, and man, it looks so good. I know the car needs a wash. I just haven't gotten a chance to do a full detail. But the fronts and the rears, everything looks so good. Brand new brakes, I'm pretty happy. The only thing that's left, we're gonna have to get that tint removed and changed. But the only thing that's left now is probably to get the brakes bled. Stainless steel lines, that's gonna be down the road. I'll probably do those together just because when you change the brake lines, you do need to bleed them. But man, don't these look good? Matching in the back, matching in the front, and pretty happy with the performance of these. I'm gonna have to really put these to the test, but so far, really good. Again, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't film everything. I ran into a lot of issues with the rear, and I just had to put my concentration on the car. So that is it, guys. We've changed the brakes on all 4 corners of the Mugen. We got the front brakes done in 2 videos ago. We did the rear brakes in today's video. I'm sorry I couldn't record all of it. I had to put my concentration on the car, but the process is no different than doing the front brakes, which I did an in-depth video on. I'm just glad the brakes are all new on this car. We got her stopping on a dime. All that's left is probably stainless steel brake lines, which I do want to upgrade to. I also do want to do a complete brake fluid flush on the car to make sure everything is working tip-top. The rear actually took a lot longer than I expected. I've done hundreds of brakes in my life, but the rear of this car was probably one of the hardest that I've ever done. And it's not because it was anything different. It was more so that this is a Rust Belt car, and everything was just so rusted in the back. But you know what? We put our mind to it. We had to get some tools, add them to the arsenal. But everything's done. I drove the car. I bedded the brakes. I'm letting her cool down. And that's about it. In the next video, we're probably going to do something maintenance related. I know it's this long process and the build's going a little longer than I expected. But I just want to make sure before I start throwing crazy horsepower at this car that it has good brakes, has good tires, and the suspension's good. So in the next video, we'll probably do something like brake lines, maybe the front headlights, maybe a wash. Who knows? But you guys got to stay tuned for that. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.